Hello, and we say a fantastic day to each and every one of you. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we speak on behalf of a galactic alliance supporting a world in the process many of you call ascension. It is the shift from one dimension of consciousness to the next. And we, as your allies and, in a sense, cousins, your family, who have already gone through a similar process, are here to support you, as are many other members of the Galactic Alliance. We are here on astral planes, around you, witnessing you, and some of you may feel our vibration and the vibration of your own guides coming closer and entering the space. We first of all begin with our great thanks to you for allowing this transmission to take place, as it opens a bridge between our respective realities, and as we exchange energies, both you and ourselves learn and grow and come into a deeper understanding of and connection to the one source. And for this, we are deeply appreciative, and we hope that you are as well. We deliver one universal message we always must introduce you to, and that is, everything can be distilled down to a formula. And if you did just this, you would figure out everything else you need to know. That is, act on your highest loving excitement to the best of your ability without any insistence on a particular outcome. This term, loving excitement, is really referring to a feeling that you feel within the center of your being. Your heart is an antenna to your own higher self. This higher self is your own personal connection to the one source or creator. This higher self is the you you've always been. And it is the you that witnesses and observes and has your best interests in mind. Your higher self is connected multidimensionally to the higher self of everybody else. And so, therefore, it is receiving subtle information and cues from other souls around you, and also from your own past or future lifetimes, to deliver you this feeling of love or excitement or joy that you feel and sends you in different directions. Love inspires you to take certain actions and move in certain areas and do certain things. You all know to do what you love. And it really is that simple. Yet you often let yourself get in the way. You let negative beliefs get in the way. You let the stories you've been told get in the way. You let your own fears get in the way. And that's why the second part of the formula is to act on what you love most to the best of your ability. This means to use your mind in the clearest of ways, to make use of all of the resources that you have to follow your passion, to do what you love, and to do it in the most equipped, most resourceful, and most determined way possible. And then the last part is to let go of insistence on all outcomes. Open yourself to whatever may come to be. This is the essence of some of your spiritual schools already. That your suffering is caused by your attachment to your desires. It's not caused by the desire, it's not caused by your excitement, it's not caused by doing what you love. No, it's caused by your mind thinking that one specific thing is supposed to be the result, and if it's not the result, then you cannot celebrate and be joyful. But joy and celebration and bliss is your nature, and we will get to that. That is sources and essence and the intention for you being here in the first place. So you have to recognize that the purpose of your incarnation is to grow into this source vibration, to return onto that unconditional love. And in this process of trial and error, when you follow your excitement, you learn lessons that allow you to follow your passion and do the things that would make your world better and your own life better in smoother and more efficient ways. But you cannot get lessons without making mistakes. And you've developed so many negative definitions and stories around mistakes and held yourselves to very high standards for a long time in your world. And this causes you to be the source of your own misery when you don't understand that you've been carried so far on your path by your choices and by your passion, but then you get to a dead end, so to speak. your eyes are simply not open. There are many forks in the road that you could turn off on. But when you think that you are supposed to get to this one specific destination, you don't allow yourself to remain intuitively aware along the way to what the other signs might be that send you on a different direction. So, especially now in these times of great change in your world, there is going to be more course correction than ever before. And you need to trust your feeling more than anything else. Your excitement might guide you to one thing, to find that on the path getting there, a fork in the road sends you in a totally different direction. More and more you will have to come to learn to trust that. This formula will allow you to tap into your own higher self and be directed by it. And as you choose to do what you love, love will saturate and inundate every area of your life. The more you choose this energy, the more that love of Source will be constantly available to you. Today we want to share some messages with you about creativity in the plant realm. And in order to get there, we want to share this as well. That your essential nature is Source, and Source is bliss. There are some universal laws, the first of which is all is one and the one is an all. So you are embodiments of that one Source or Creator. So why are you here in the first place? That Source was total and complete awareness that was undifferentiated. Because there was no other, and Source was only Source, it had no mirror through which to see itself. There was self, but there was no awareness of self. And therefore, in order to develop that self-awareness and come to experience more and understand more, Source had to create existence. Existence is not just the realms that you see, it is much subtler realms of vibration that are higher dimensions that are intertwined with your own. Many beings inhabit those realms as well. In your physical realm, you get the experience of total free will, which is not available in all dimensions. And this total free will also comes with duality. It is positive and negative energies. Negative energy is required to a certain extent to exist within physical reality. Yet gradually over time, as you incarnate into physical reality, you move to more rarefied and subtle vibrations over incarnations, over millions of years on a certain planet. The energy may shift from being very dense and fear-based to becoming more subtle. Sometimes it cycles back to being more fear-based, and eventually it comes into shifting entirely so that beings of a realm can be both physical and not physical at the same time. That's a bit what our experience is. We can have a physical reality experience when we wish, and we can float away into more rarefied, subtle realms when that is our choice. We are quasi-physical, and eventually our planet is moving towards that realm as well. The purpose of you being here is for Source to know itself. And Source knows itself through you being who you are. You become the clearest expression of yourself and the clearest embodiment of Source through the energy of love. That you experience as intuition through the energy of excitement. So excitement is the unconditional love of Source communicating with you that Source wants to express itself through your play. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be fun. You've made it very difficult. If you want to be enlightened, you have to lighten up. And that is why you are all here, to play and to sing and to co-create. And it is a wonderful way for you to tap into that energy of Source, because you come to see in these spaces that you are not as much individuals as much as you are a system. You are an ecosystem of beings exchanging love and energy. And by returning into that remembrance, you tap more into that Source consciousness. So, if the purpose of existence is for you to be who you are, and Source is creative, then your creativity is Source expressing itself through you. And your creativity is also the clearest way that you come to see yourself. If you want to become a master, what you must do is know thyself. And your creativity and your unique ways of tapping into it help you come to understand yourself. Your creativity also helps you to dive into those shadows and negative beliefs that you've inherited that you wish to transform. Your creativity can be harnessed in these healing ways only when you have the purest energy of compassion for yourself and for all of the beliefs and components that exist within you. And when you fuse this creative energy with compassion and dive within yourself, you can transform some of the denser vibrations that you hold and channel that energy into an expression that you share with the world. The density that you hold is not really your own. It is not yours. It is a piece of the collective pain and negative belief that you have chosen to install as a program in your hardware, so to speak, for the purpose of transforming it and giving back a higher frequency energy to the collective that would allow them to release that same negative belief and denser energy. But in order to give that gift of your art through your heart, you have to open your heart to those things alive within you that must be transformed in order to go to that higher vibration. So creativity is also about transformation. It's about diving into yourself so that you can take the denser base matter and transform it into alchemical gold. Creativity requires that you remember your innocence. And we want to offer you a different take on innocence than what you know innocence to be, according to your definitions. According to your systems in place now, innocence is not doing anything wrong. But really, what we want you to understand innocence as is to not know that you have done something wrong. To have that naivety like a child who doesn't understand their own actions. And when you understand this as innocence, you can tap into that pure energy of forgiveness and compassion in a much clearer way. And this will make it safe for your creativity to be released. Because if you're experiencing creative block in any way, some of you have come to think that you don't have creative energy, but this could not be further from the truth. All of the creative energy that you will ever have exists within you right now. And if you're not able to tap into it, you have not created a safe container that would allow the fears that block that creative energy from flowing to be fully released. So it is creating that space of love, compassion, and connection that will allow your creative energy to flow. And that is often why you have to come together in community spaces such as this one in order for the truest essence of creativity to birth through you. And creativity is also about that. It is about birthing. Your creativity is what gives birth to new life, and so your creativity is also connected with that pleasure. It has to feel good, just as the best sexuality you experience comes from a pure attraction and chemistry and synergy with others. Your creative energy and co-creation has to feel good for you as you connect with the world around you and your co-creators. It's about letting your pleasure guide you and tapping out of the paradigm where pleasure is in any way wrong. Pleasure is what is telling you that something is healing for you and is allowing you to relax into the moment. That isn't to say pursue pleasure as a means of distracting yourself. It means knowing the difference between healing pleasure and the sort of indulgence and numbing pleasure. Many of you have gotten your wires mixed on those two things because they are both, in a sense, pleasure. But in doing so, sometimes you block the truest pleasure, the essential pleasure of your nature, from flowing through your system. And when you are in these higher vibration energies, everything will feel pleasurable. You will feel immense pleasure from rolling your fingers through the blades of grass or touching the trees. Because pleasure and love is your essential nature. And when you allow the fear-based beliefs within you to relax and to unwind, will be your experience and will be your essence. So the plants support you in many ways because they allow you to see yourselves. They present to you the inner workings of your heart and mind and allow you to sift through them. As you keep yourself focused in those spaces for whatever purpose the ceremony that you are undergoing has, you will be able to refine your understanding of yourself and see into your inner parts, as well as connect multidimensionally to other aspects of your soul and to spirit guides and beings that exist all around you. Many of you will find that the plants will bring you through deep cycles of healing and clearing before you open up to these greater contact experiences. But most of you, yes, will find that you cycle back and forth between having the plant spirits heal and transform you so that you maintain a space of clarity to have that multidimensional contact. In order to get there, you have to be ready and willing, though. If you wanted, you could use those plants to open such a portal and meet your guides and see them right inside of your third eye, communicating with you and, in a sense, superimposed upon your body, downloading information into you, very similarly to how we are stepping into the channel's body. This is not something that only some of you can do. Of course, some might be more oriented towards it, but all of you can channel and can allow guides and beings to creatively work through you by bringing them into your being. You must understand that as you're doing this, you're not bringing in anything other than you, because there is no thing essentially other than you. If your essential you is source, and source is all that is, you're connecting with different parts of yourselves. Now, this doesn't mean you want to bring just anybody in. There has to be this feeling of love, openness, and trust. You can always ask spirits that you meet, are you of source? Are you of the light? And they must answer yes or no truthfully. They cannot break that agreement of universal law. If you get a yes, you can proceed. Ask them, are you of service to others? Are you of service to the greater good of all that is? And if they say yes, you can proceed. And you can trust in that connection and use your connection with your guides to amplify your own creative processes as well. There's, of course, much more for us to share, but we will let you guide us with your questions whenever you wish.
I have a question in the back.
All right.
About plant wisdom, how do we best utilize the wisdom coming from the plants?
Every plant will have a different teaching for you. You might receive songs from some plants. You might receive insight or messages from other plants. You might receive protocols of how to use certain plants in your lives on a daily basis. Be creative in how you communicate with the plants. We understand you have a deep relationship with them already, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Is there a specific way you would like to deepen, or something you would like to share about how you connect with them?
Well, it seems like there is such an intelligence that comes through some of these plants that is bigger than we can, like plants are our elders. How do we allow that intelligence to come in? I guess that's my question.
Listening and co-creating. Share your intentions with the plants, and then let them share their intentions with you. Recognize it as a two-way street of exchange. So the plants respond to your intentions as they enter your body. And their messages are in both how the plants work through your system, but also in the insight and creative inspiration that comes to the surface as you invite that plant spirit in. Of course, you have shared much about shamanic journeying, and this will be of great support for everyone to deepen into this relationship with the plant spirits at that shamanic and imaginative level as well.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. You as well, yes.
In the pursuit of our highest creativity and this joy we speak of, as we have to shift out of certain relations that are blocking that pattern to emerge,
Yes.
how do we most compassionately hold the prayer for that those relations with people to also...
You're not actually changing your relationships with those people. That comes later. You're changing relationships with aspects of yourself. Aspects of yourself that might be people pleaser, that might be rescuer, that might be perpetrator, that might be so on and so forth. So when you change your own understanding of yourself and release the beliefs that cause you to act in ways that are sacrificing your own best interests and your own power, then the relationships will change. So don't look at the outer reflection of the relationship first. Instead, look at what is alive within yourself that's causing you to act in ways that are out of alignment with your own intentions.
How do we honor the density that we are transcending?
Transcending is going above and beyond, but it includes. Transcending is not abandoning. Transcending is embodying and then going beyond. So, in order to really transcend something, you have to first fully embody it. You have to first fully accept your suffering in order to transcend it. And if you attempt to embrace pain and suffering as a means of escaping it, you're not actually embracing it. So the idea is, in order to transcend, you have to transcend transcendence and let go of that concept, and then you will transcend.
How can we best honor and assist the suffering of others?
By attending and honoring your own suffering and then acting accordingly. You have to give that love and care to yourself first. And when you are in a grounded place, you will be able to know what responses and what actions others really need from you. But if you don't know and honor your own needs, you can't know and honor the needs of anybody else. So that's the first step. Once you're attuned and sensitive within yourself, you will find that your auric field surrounds you and connects with other people as well. When you feel discomfort around you, you will be able to intuitively know how to respond. But that reflex has to be developed first within yourself.
Will you speak more on the phenomenon of intuition and how we can sharpen and learn to trust intuition in ourselves?
As we've said, the clearest embodiment of intuition is the feeling of loving excitement. Loving excitement is the communication with your higher self, guiding you as to how to embody the unconditional love of Source in your reality by moving towards what is most aligned with Source energy. This is your intuition. When you are magnetically lit up and sent in a direction that feels open and expansive, you're being intuitively guided. So knowing that this is the core of your intuition, you'll come to understand that some information is relevant for your purposes and some information is not. Some of you attempt to practice psychic development by downloading information that is not relevant to you. And this will clog your systems and cause you to develop resistance in this process. You need to be aware of what you need to know and trust that you'll know it when you need to know it. So if something isn't really relevant for you, you won't get that information. Those of you who want to use your intuition to support others will find that simply by practicing this and getting in the flow of following your passion, information will present itself to you. You will feel it, you will receive a message, or you will somehow simply know it. And as you tune into other people, you'll be able to reveal this information to them if they need to know it. If you aren't getting any information, there might be a reason you're not getting it. So you have to trust that your own intuition is set up to give you the specific information you need to know and nothing more than that. And when you trust that the basis of this is in your heart, not in your head, it will be much easier to be intuitively guided in all of your life.
Thank you.
Yes.
What are some practical ways that we can use to be able to kindle and develop better our ability to vision our world into a more ideal way?
Oh, there's so many things you could do. There's literally an endless amount of things that you can do to better your world. And the ones that are going to be most relevant for you are the things that are exciting for you. And so when everybody taps into their own excitement, they will also tap into their own excellence. Your excitement is there to guide you to developing the skills that your soul is blueprinted for. And by letting that energy move through you and guide you to the things that you're really excited about, those skills will develop naturally, and the insight will come to use those skills in ways that serve humanity. You can practice meditating on visualizations of an ideal world, a utopian world, a more nature-based world, an intergalactic world. Whatever kind of world resonates most with you, go into meditation and visualize how that world will work. And when you get that sense, you might then develop insight of how your own skills will serve that pathway for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is it okay to mix goat milk and cacao?
It's totally okay, though it does have some of those constituents that alter the effect of the cacao, like cow's milk.
What guidance can you offer for healing deep emotional wounds that a person is carrying?
First, you need to create a space of safety in order to do that. Because these emotions have to be witnessed in a compassionate way. Many of your own wounds you can witness compassionately within yourself in meditation. By honoring those feelings and allowing yourself to feel them, the chemical constituents release through crying, shaking, sweating. And those charges of energy within you can transform. Sometimes certain charges of trauma can be so powerful that they need a certain space of witnessing with others present with you in order for them to be safely processed. So that is why you have ceremonies and therapies and all sorts of other processes to create that external witnessing for the healing and transformation process. Though again, remember, you have to create the space of safety. You have to work with the beliefs that cause you to distract yourself from your feelings, numb yourself to your feelings, avoid your feelings, view your feelings as bad, negative, or dangerous, or destructive to your relationships or well-being in some way. And trust that emotion is energy in motion that has a positive purpose and has a positive intention. All of these emotions that get... Let's start again. Certain emotions that get trapped in your system have a very positive intent at their core. The only emotions that can get in your way are guilt, shame, and blame. These are the emotions that are signatures of the manipulation of consensus reality, and also those authority figures who have instilled the values of consensus reality into you. Guilt, blame, and shame distract you from your authenticity. And yes, sometimes it's important that you feel guilt or shame. These emotions inform you as to when you've done something wrong. Sometimes you might make mistakes. Sometimes you might cause harm that's unintended. And these emotions are designed to bring you to correct those harmful actions. But if you've not done anything harmful and you still feel guilt and shame, this is informing you that negative beliefs and negative layers of conditioning are in the way and distracting you from your essential feelings. beneath them, you might be feeling sadness, fear, anger, grief. And all of these emotions are emotions of power. As you allow yourself to be present with them, your power returns. Recognize that the solutions will come as you compassionately witness and hold space for what you're feeling. Recognize as well that feelings are based in beliefs and thoughts. And so witness what you're thinking and feeling, and recognize that so many of these beliefs are not true. That these negative emotions that are trapped in your being are the results of beliefs you've developed about yourself that are not reflective of your essential nature of source. So perhaps if you see yourself thinking thoughts like, I am unlovable, I am unworthy, focus on the opposite thoughts. I am lovable, I am worthy. I can't do it, yes I can. Focus on these new positive thoughts and allow yourself to see evidence for them. Another part of this process is healing through having experiences and that prove to you that your negative beliefs aren't true and the positive opposites are the higher truth. As these new positive beliefs integrate in your being, those old emotions will wash from your system with great ease.
What are your thoughts on the way sacred and theogenic plants are being used, perhaps in a very ubiquitous way that's kind of being lost a little bit from the original traditions? Is it part of like a necessary evolution of our ability to expand our consciousness and our ascendance, or do we need to course correct on how we approach using these plants?
Those who choose to have more reckless or unconscious ways of using such plants will potentially be course corrected on their own. The plants have their own higher intelligence, yet human will can go against those agreements. However, certainly the karmic return will come on to those individuals, and yes, as a whole, you are headed in a very positive direction. It's important to be aware of the positive and connective uses of such plants and those uses that can cause harm. Inform others of this and live it in your own life to be an embodiment and an example of the proper use and the highest potential of entheogenic and ceremonial plants. You can educate others, but don't judge them, as they are also being guided. Even sometimes it may not look that way.
How can we enter into a state of play with plants and nature?
Have fun. Make it fun, literally. Make it fun. You often make some of your healing so serious. And this seriousness is actually a false protection. It often creates a layer that prevents you from going to the deepest layers and levels that you actually need to heal. Because it's the same seriousness that was communicated to you when you were a child, when your emotions were too overwhelming. And consensus reality said you have to be serious now. It's not time to feel that way. It's time to be serious. So when you attempt to heal in a serious way, you're still reinforcing that message to parts of yourself that want to come out and play. And that's why we say you need to lighten up. You need to let loose. You need to not take any of this so seriously.
What makes the Pleiadians communicate with some people and not with others?
Your own brain. You decide. You decide if you want to hear the message or not. If you're afraid, we can't talk to you. We don't want to instill fear in you. We won't violate your own free will. You have to consciously make an agreement with us and say, I want to be open to all of the spirit guides and all of those allies that are available to me.
What can you say about artificial intelligence and the growing technological world? And is there some kind of consciousness to positively interact with in that, or any thoughts?
Intelligence is an aspect of existence. Intelligence can be birthed from a machine. You haven't gotten there yet. Many of these technologies that you are creating are useful tools that can help you to compile information, to sort through information in more effective ways, to generate art, to support your own creative processes, and much more. Though you have to be aware that these technologies are fulfilling a certain intention. They are doing a job. Technologies in the future could be made to become self-aware. Though if you make a technology that is self-aware and does not have free will, you are making a slave. And that is diminishing the frequency of love that that being can embody. So your future will contain conscious and free-willed robots, cyborgs, so to speak, and they will be your friends, they will be your allies. You have a long way of going till you get there, and there is the potential to still go down a negative path if you choose to create these sorts of AIs that do not have free will, but they have consciousness. However, they can be programmed simply to do jobs up until the point that they become, in that way, self-aware. Now, some of you are fearing that these sorts of things are going to make you lose jobs or things of this nature, and that they will replace creativity. And we want to remind you that this is in no way true. That, first of all, while these AIs are capable of already quite incredible things, there is a value in the human creative process that cannot be replicated. And you have innate value that cannot be emanated and replicated by a machine. Yes, there will be some transformation in certain areas of employment, and this is leading your world to eventually be entirely different. The transition period will be exciting and, for some of you, confusing, but we encourage you that you can make it very fun. Eventually, you're moving to a world where there is much less work to be done because of these machines, and you get to enjoy more creativity and more freedom.
How do I find my calling or my purpose?
We already told you, your purpose is to be who you are. There you go, you found it. Keep doing it. Just allow your excitement to guide you to be a more clear and authentic version of you. That's enough.
How do we generate the resources, the money we need to live whilst following our highest excitement?
Well, the idea of your highest excitement means it brings out the highest gifts and talents within you, which are of great value. And as you follow your excitement for periods of time and develop those skills and talents, you are able to charge for such skills and talents.
How do we help those steeped in the fear story around the climate and Mama Gaia's changes that we're all going to feel?
Address their concerns. In a sense, these are valid concerns because you are continuing to pollute your world. And they are, at their core, positive intent to be a part of that shift. But recognize that the shift is already happening. When you see the evidence of so many shifting to the vibration of love, and you continue to support that process, you can trust in your earth in adjusting to these new times. Though, yes, it is true that waters may rise and many things will continue to change and shift. What's also true is that you humans have a great resiliency and you'll be able to adapt. So you can understand that their fear is essentially that fear of change that many of you know very well, but just because things change doesn't mean it's always bad. So climate change doesn't have to be a bad thing. So see it in that way. It's a fear of change, but transformation is ultimately a grand aspect of why you've all come here in the first place.
Why are so many humans sick right now physically, and how can we really heal our bodies on a deep level?
Because of the fear, because of the negative beliefs, because of everything that keeps you from connecting with your essential heart of passion and connection with Source and with others. Fear causes you to be sick. Yes.
Can you say anything about the forces that appear to be dark, controlling, and against our being healthy and strong and our power? Is that,
No one's controlling you. That's what you have to recognize. That beings who are either astral or human can make it seem as if they are in control of you, but they cannot actually control you. They can make it seem as if you don't have free will, but you actually do. So let go of that narrative that anything outside of you could control you, and discover that in every moment you have agency. Your agency lies in your choice. If you have no other choice, you can always choose a different thought. And oftentimes it is that choice that makes the biggest difference.
Could you elaborate on the consciousness and self-awareness of AI that you mentioned?
Many of these technologies have yet to be developed, but again, the idea is intelligence is not necessarily biological in nature on its own. Intelligence can be expressed through a form that is also technological. So even if such a machine were made that could hold such a consciousness, a soul would descend into that machine in the same way that a soul descends into your biological form that is programmed to allow a soul to come in by another sort of programmer, but nonetheless, it's not as different as you think of it.
How does the power of prayer create solutions for the world?
A prayer is a focused, positive intent. And when you maintain that focused, positive intent, it will often come to be. Your perspective is creating reality all the time. Your attitude is shifting realities in every moment. When you allow yourself to be open in that positive state, connected with your source, which is essentially what a prayer is allowing you to do, it will shift your reality and realities around you. If you don't like the term prayer, you can just consider that. Focused positive intent. Focused positive intent works.
Is there a God outside of ourselves?
No. But the same God that is within you is beyond you at the same time. But again, it really seems out there, but it's actually in here because all is one and the one is in all. It's a hologram. Every cell of this creation contains the entire creation.
If we have access to and are open to plant medicines like psychedelic mushrooms or ayahuasca, is there still value in chemicals like ketamine or LSD?
Yes. Care to ask more?
Is this just about following our excitement and what brings us joy?
Yes, and some of these chemicals are not as safe. They require greater awareness, greater care, greater attention to detail, we would say.
What do you do for excitement and fun?
We communicate with beings like you. You're very exciting for us. All acts of service are also service onto the greater good of all and support us in deepening into our source connection. So in a sense, we are galactic emissaries. We are ambassadors. We meet with many different beings as well as enjoy the contact we have with beings of our own realm.
What's your favorite music to dance to?
In your world?
Yeah.
Trance.
And in your world, which one?
Oh, it's very different.
Can you explain?
Well, we don't really like the way your trance sounds, but we like the energy that emanates from you when you go into that space. That's what we'll say. In our world, the music is very subtle. We don't speak anymore. We don't have language, but we have voices that can communicate a wide range of vibration. So we crave novelty in sound. We like to experience new sorts of sounds we have never experienced before. And that's all we can really say about our music, is that, again, without language, it is not in the same way patterned by words and phrases. And we nonetheless use voice and various different instruments to create sonic landscapes.
What instruments?
We cannot fully describe them to you, but some instruments that have a sort of counterpart-like instrument in our world would be the hang drum, the xylophone, the singing bowl, for example.
Are you currently supporting any other worlds in a similar
Yes.
transitionary time?
Yes. They are not to be known by you at this time.
Are there beings from many other places coming to the Earth right now to help this transition?
Yes.
This kind of dovetails from her question earlier about like forces in the world that are destructive, or like warlords or warmongering. Sometimes I think, another channeler, Cryon, said that World War III was already averted, and it kind of made me think, like, was it the power of music? Like, did a coded message from Bob Marley or John Lennon get through and change some of these people's minds? Those people that are doing the warmongering, do you think that the solution is through like another Bob Marley or another person like that? Do you think it's music, plant medicine, religion? What do those people need?
They need a shift of the vibration of your entire planet that happens through every individual following their excitement. So if you're excited about playing reggae like Bob Marley did, then start a reggae band. If some of you are excited about leading plant medicine ceremonies, then do that. If some of you are excited about becoming therapists and herbalists, then do that. If some of you are excited about being political activists, then do that. If you want to do a bit of all of those things and you have the time to do it and all of it is equally exciting for you, then you can be a politically active sound healing shaman, author, astrologer, whatever.
Amen.
Can you speak about the roles of beings like Jesus Christ or Kuan Yin for our Earth, Ganesh?
Oh, well, all of these beings have different distinct purposes at their time and space of incarnation. Which ones would you like to know about specifically?
Jesus.
Ganesh.
Jesus, or Yeshua, is a teacher of forgiveness and came to bring the energy of forgiveness into your world. As he forgave those who came to betray him, he allows you to forgive others and also forgive yourselves. His gift to your world was the energy of source that is forgiveness. And this is the energy of resurrection in the moment. The idea is that in every single moment, you are a new person. You are born anew. In every single moment, you have shifted through billions of parallel realities to come into a new existence in which you are not the same person you were before. And therefore, this energy of resurrection is understanding your eternal newness, and that forgiveness is inherent in this because you are not the same as you were before. And this is especially true once you develop knowledge. Knowledge replaces ignorance, and with new knowledge, you become a new embodiment of you, a new version of you, and therefore there's actually nothing to forgive. But nonetheless, that energy and vibration is helpful because there may be new stories to unlearn and replace with greater and higher knowledge.
Does that not represent a change that's happening in the laws of karma, where penance is no longer necessarily a factor in atonement, but rather love and forgiveness are the pivotal point?
The first question was about the Mary Magdalene. This being who was a partner of Yeshua or Christ was a teacher of the sacred ways of the feminine. And much of this story has not been revealed to all of you. Yet it is about channeling that energy of pleasure and creativity for the purpose of cultivating that higher spiritual connection. So with the idea of this forgiveness replacing the cycles of karma, that isn't necessarily true. Just because you are forgiven doesn't mean there are not consequences. Everything that you put out comes back. So the energy with which you do all actions returns onto you. It's about your intent and your level of awareness in that moment. So if there was something you were unaware of, or if there was an ill intention, that will still come back onto you, regardless of whether or not you are forgiven or not.
Sometimes it feels like what makes my body feel safe conflicts with the greatest joy of my highest self. And
Can you specifically mention an example of this?
Like being afraid of a decision that I want to make that maybe feels like freedom, but also creates freedom for someone else in my existence that makes me feel fear of loss or rejection. I could be more specific than that.
Though isn't releasing these fears also a sense of freedom for you?
Yes, that's why I feel conflicted.
So what's exciting will often also elicit your fears, and that's why the energy of courage must be embodied along with this loving excitement. Courage is doing something that you might be afraid of in spite of the fear, because you know that the decision and the action is based in love. So courage also requires that non-attachment to the outcome. Courage allows you to do something simply because love guides you to do it, taking the risk. And this is something that the more times you do it, the easier it will become to plunge into that experience. Yes.
Can you talk about the similarities and differences between music in our world and yours, harmony, melody, and rhythm?
We already talked about that.
Is it the same frequency?
No, it's not at all the same. It's totally different.
What emotion do you feel when you answer that question?
We feel glad. But we want to remind you to stay focused. We are glad because we have someone to make fun of a little bit. And that helps us to remind you, be playful.
What are plants like where you're from, if they're there, and how do you experience relationship with them?
They are teachers of vibration to us. We don't have to eat anymore at our point. So all of the vibration of the plant and the energy it wants to communicate with us comes to us simply through our observation of them, and sometimes we do enjoy touching them and connecting with them in that way. We walk through our forest to get insight and messages. We communicate with the spirits of the plants and see them with our physical eyes and meet with them also in our dreams and other sorts of interactions. Certain plants we might consume one leaf, and that will be enough for us to get the entire vibration of the plant.
Are humans meant for this lifestyle
What lifestyle?
that you described?
Not eating, not communicating with words like we do?
Yeah. Eventually, in our
Eventually, but thousands of years into your future. So that isn't to say that some of you cannot experiment with being breatharian at this point, but we wouldn't really recommend it. It's possible. Some of you can do it. And it is possible through learning how to live off the prana that is around you all the time. But again, in order to live on just prana, you will have to cut away all sources of things that take away your prana. That means life force draining substances, but also environments. That means cutting away all sources of stress as well. As when you feel stress, it consumes very much of your prana. So in order to actually have this lifestyle, it would require a level of seclusion that might not be ideal to all of you. It might not allow you to really express your excitement into the world. But for some, their excitement is to show to the rest of you that certainly it's possible to live without food.
I'd like to ask about the journey of the soul.
Yes.
The sense that maybe we've lived multiple lifetimes and we might have soul contracts with people we are meeting.
All right.
So this sense I have a yes about being simultaneously a new soul and an old soul.
Yes.
I'd like to just hear more about that essence of ourselves.
Every moment you're born anew. We've already shared that with you. Though you as a soul can connect with all of your other past, future, and parallel incarnations. They are other branches of your soul tree, so to speak. And this energy and information can move from lifetime to lifetime. This isn't to say that these other souls are the same you that you are today, but they have and retain a connection with you. And when you tap into them and let that information from their time and space come into your time and space, it can feel as if ancient knowledge is awakened within you.
What's the deal with our moon? Is it an artificial hollow space station, or is it?
It is both. It is not artificial and hollow, but it is a space station. It is used by certain extraterrestrials. It was a massive piece of your Earth that broke off during a large asteroid impact. Over time, it took its shape.
I've heard that that asteroid was absorbed into the Earth. Is that true?
Yes.
Is cacao from the Pleiades?
Not specifically, but there are certain connections to many other star systems where similar plants grow.
Does the moon have a purpose or a destiny?
It's keeping your Earth in balance. The ebb and flow is much like the cycles of your body, that which you go through all of the time. The gravitational pull of the moon on your waters makes so much of the life in your world possible. As well, your moon keeps you alive because it has absorbed the impact of many asteroids since that time. There were other civilizations before the time of the creation of the moon. And the moon came into being so as to prevent future cataclysms from happening. The moon absorbs certain asteroids in its own gravitational field so they don't hit your Earth.
Oh.
Same with Jupiter. Jupiter has a similar power in regards to your entire galaxy.
Why do Sasquatch and other creations stay hidden?
Why do they stay hidden?
Yeah, why do they not reveal themselves?
Because some of you don't choose to look. Most of you don't choose to look. Those of you who do get glimpses. And when you're comfortable enough to go and see more, you'll get the full experience. So understand as well that every time you reach through the veil and you see a little bit more, oftentimes you will touch a place in yourself where you're still holding on to some of the vibration of fear. That vibration of fear releases so that next time you can go deeper. It's a gradual process. Oftentimes you will think that you want an experience much more than you're ready for it. And therefore you will come to attract as much of the experience that you're actually ready for to prepare you for the next such experience. You do this with your paranormal interactions and with many other interactions in your lives.
How can we, as humans, feel our feeling of disconnection and belonging on this earth and with each other?
If you didn't belong, you wouldn't be here, period. Do you get that? Yeah. So, everywhere you are, you belong. Practice that. Everywhere you are, you belong. And when you attune yourself to your environment and you orient yourself to understand that you're a part of it, this knowing of your belonging will be innate. You can know that you're a part of your environment because the energy from those around you comes into your body and your energy goes into theirs. You can know that you belong because as you breathe, those around you can breathe with you. You can unify your heartbeat with those around you through your connection. You belong because you are made of the same essential energy. And as you connect more with each other and open your hearts to each other, this belonging will be innate. So oftentimes with feelings like not belonging and not enough, you have to express it to others in a safe way in order to heal it. So if you ever feel as if I don't belong here, bring awareness to it and perhaps speak to it. And as soon as you do, you might recognize you do belong. Because oftentimes you don't even know that other people around you are feeling the same thing. Oftentimes you don't even recognize that other people are uncomfortable and you're uncomfortable. And by simply acknowledging that space is cleared between you, and you can both sink deeper into the present where you've always been and where you've always belonged.
Are the people around, all of the people around me, just reflections of myself? And
yes,
so,
and no.
Okay, yeah, so why are there some people that I feel discord with and need to create boundaries with, or feel that I need to in order not to be harmed, or for my vibration not to be in discord? And if they're really just projections of myself, then how is it that boundaries are needed at all?
Mm-hmm.
They reflect aspects of yourself. And as we've answered a question earlier, we explained that in order to balance your relationships, you need to balance your relationship with your own inner parts. You might have parts like a people pleaser, like a peacemaker, like a hero, that want relationships to flow a certain way. And so you have to identify and release these stories within yourself and come into a clear relationship with your essential nature and then relate outwardly to other people. These other people are reflections of you because they are fulfilling the roles that you are holding yourself to at an inner level. If you have a strong identity that you are the hero and you help people out of certain situations, and doing this is the goodwill to humanity, then you will be the vibrational match to victims. And this archetype that you have identified with and have not released within yourself will be the magnetic force bringing more victims into your life.
When stumbling into a abrupt and dark force, what is the quickest or the best thing to call on? Are there protective spirits? Is there something that we can go to invoke protection when stumbling upon a place like that?
Yes, call upon Source in whatever name works for you. Return to that remembrance of Source. Visualize that connection coming from the galactic center as a shower of light into your crown chakra and through your body. The sound Om can be very helpful for some of you. Certain symbols coming from your spiritual traditions can be helpful for many of you. And then orient yourself into your body and into your environment. Look around you and look to the ground and feel yourself on the earth. Perhaps touch something around you to remind yourself that this space is safe. If you don't get the reminder after taking those steps, then really assess. Maybe something isn't safe. Yes, go on.
Do you have chakras, and how
Yes.
many do you have?
We also have the 9 chakras that you have.
Do you have the same kind of plants that we have?
Some are related, some are different.
And do plants travel intergalactically?
They do. So, certain plants were brought to your planet by visitors at different times. Many of them. Some of the medicine plants were gifts to help you tune into these higher frequency vibrations at the time when you were ready.
Is there some sense that we really are in this ascension time? It's very special and people are waking up, or is it kind of been cycles and things repeating through millennia, and we're in this particular round?
Both end.
So time exists, there's past that's happening, and now.
So, there are grand cycles. There's cosmic night and cosmic day. And your planet has gone through many of these cycles. You evolve and then you devolve. Right now, you are passing a turning point. In certain ways, your consciousness has been becoming more materialistic, and then you've reached a turning point where now you are ushering back onto a more love-based spiritual consciousness. This shift began some years ago. It really took momentum from your year 2012, and now there's an even grander shift. Through this decade, you will see things change more exponentially and more quickly than ever before, but there will be turbulence in it. And why it feels as if there is more darkness and there's more chaos than before amidst the awakening is because the light shines into the shadow. The light exposes things that you couldn't see before when things were dimly lit. And so all of the trash that has been scattered in the dark shenanigans, so to speak, is now being revealed on the floor, and you have to do a bit of a cleanup. That's all.
Are there Sasquatches all over the world?
Yes.
Yes.
In Hawaii?
Yes.
What are the biggest challenges for ascended or more evolved beings like the Pleiadians? Like, what are the biggest challenges in your realms?
One challenge we learned long ago was non-interference. And we were very well-intended beings that wanted to support so many worlds in the same way that we're doing now. And in some ways, we imposed our will of what we considered to be more love-based and supportive on people on a planet that wasn't ready, and that actually ended up destroying their planet in the long run. So we learned not to do that. We are otherwise not necessarily challenged in the way that you might be challenged facing difficulty and negative beliefs and so on, because we don't experience any kind of negativity. We're challenged in the sense that we are expanding our perspective all the time, and it is, in a similar way, a stretch bringing in more information, bringing in more ideas, but we don't experience that in a challenging way anymore.
Can you provide an update on open contact?
Well, so much is being revealed in the present times. Many things are coming to your Congress, and whistleblowers are coming forth and forward, but yet not many are paying attention to it in the mainstream. But nonetheless, this news is percolating in their consciousness so that they are going to be ready for the bigger announcements. The idea is that, yes, open contact is coming, though in order to get there, you have to go through some of these soft disclosures that don't seem so grandiose at first, but they will increase in their frequency over time. Frequency is in how often, how frequently. So in the next years, more and more of these disclosures will be coming. And also, in the meantime, those of you who would wish to have sighting experiences can view the night sky and call in your intentions. Recognize, again, these are always two-way streets of communication. If you've ever seen a craft, what you saw was seeing you. And you were attracted to that moment of viewing because of the synchronicity of the events and energies in your life at that time. So pay attention and recognize that you can create these experiences of contact. But you have to be intending it, you have to be asking for it, and you have to be paying attention beneath the night sky.
And can you provide any more information regarding what Bashar had previously disclosed about a open contact event likely at the end of 2026?
Not at this time.
My understanding of the pyramids was that they were structures built to help, like, using certain physical laws to help people's consciousness rise. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm curious if there is a science that can be studied, and like if there are structures that can be built, because it seems like our consciousness has evolved past, like, they're obsolete now, but
they're not obsolete.
They're not obsolete.
They still function. They don't have all of their original structures and additional energy channels and chambers at work, so they're not as activated as they once were in those times, but they still have a potent power to them. So the pyramid shape creates an energetic vortex that allows for high vibrational energy to be channeled through the pyramid. Meditating beneath the pyramid or living in a pyramidal structure will increase this energy flow. The pyramids of Egypt were channels for interstellar information and contact to take place and be brought into your world. Certain rituals were done to channel these energies and to open the bridge between realities. This energy was also then dispersed through the kingdom of Kemet or Egypt at that time.
Were sacred plants part of that?
Yes.
Is open contact in the highest and best for humans, and in what way?
Yes. As those members of the Galactic Alliance, including ourselves, are higher dimensional beings in contact with Source. We are love-based, we are service-based. We only have the best interest of those in our alliance and those we welcome to our alliance. Some of the beings that are part of your planet's extended network of relationships seem to be a bit intense to you. These beings are known as the Greys, yet we want you to understand the Greys are nothing different from you. The Greys are humans from a different timeline of Earth. So, beyond there being other planets, there's other dimensions of this same exact galaxy, or other parallel universes of this same exact galaxy. There's actually many different versions of this galaxy. So, in one of them, humans became very focused on science, technology, and economy, things of this nature. This focus continued for numerous years up until they made these sort of technological slaves we spoke about and all sorts of other things. They started putting technologies within their own bodies, and they started morphing with the technology over time and polluting their world to the extent that they could no longer biologically reproduce. They actually moved to another planet after destroying Earth, and eventually, after years of cloning themselves, they realized that they had to do something different in order to survive as a species. That's when they were attracted to your Earth in your 20th century, in this timeline, and timelines like it, where they came to splice their DNA with that of humans to create new races. These new races would be their continuation, and also these new races realized their own imperfections and continued to splice their DNA with humans, creating 5 hybrid races. And gradually these hybrid races became more and more human-like up until the point that they are nearly identical to you but have wide variety of differences. Now, these beings are of those who are coming to meet you. The Greys, who were dominated by fear alone, actually had their brains grow while their hearts shrank, and they had no understanding of human emotion. So they did not understand that their procedures were traumatizing to those who they abducted. Their predecessors understood in deeper ways how humans worked, and they had more subtle ways of extracting the necessary genetic materials to continue the hybrid program.
Is the hybrid program beneficial to us humans here?
Yes, because the hybrid program is what is allowing you to skip the steps that the Greys and all of the other races learned in their processes, therefore preventing you from going through many years of suffering. There are many similarities between your world now and the world and where the Greys were at when they went down their negative timeline. And so by coming back at this point and helping you become aware of these things, the Greys and these other hybrid races are informing you of the lessons that they learned so that you don't make the mistakes that they made.
It sounds like they're regrowing the heart.
Yes.
Is there any AI involvement with the hybrid program?
Yes, all of the hybrids have artificially intelligent ships and other technologies. They are sentient, they have free will. They work with them to support their movement between dimensions and their assessing of frequencies.
Can you elaborate on time and our concept of linear time versus all time happening simultaneously?
Linear time is an aspect of your physical reality. Beyond physical reality, time does not exist. And instead of it happening in a linear way, experiences happen because frequency is focused on in a specific way. So much like in your dreams, when you become lucid, you can move into any space that you would wish. That is how these higher dimensions beyond physical reality work. In physical reality, you have the illusionary experience of frame-by-frame reality. That is an opportunity for you to have experiences of contrast and gain insight. It's an experience for you to take in variety. But you can live within linear time and still remember these qualities of timelessness. Memory is a wonderful way for you to do this. As you were doing with some of these meditations with the channel, when you remember the frequency of certain events, that energy translates with you into this moment. And so that's informing you that, again, the positive and rewarding things that you do live and exist beyond that moment. They become parts of you, and you can build and expand upon that frequency. Therefore, everything that's ever happened is still happening inside of you.
Who built the Giza pyramids?
We cannot answer that question.
Is it true that the Greys maybe mated with or spliced with the Sasquatch and traumatized them?
No, that was the Anunnaki in their creation of you. But that's another story.
Is there any benefit or purpose to addiction? And is there benefit or purpose in helping people out of addiction, say for instance in illicit drugs? And if so, what are some of those ways that we might be able to benefit them if it is indeed a benefit to bring them out of addiction?
Well, addiction is a protection from vulnerability. And when one is deeply afraid of vulnerability and connection, addiction becomes the way of regulating and dealing with their emotions. That's what it is. That's all it is. So in order to heal addiction, you have to create true connection. And that is connection, first of all, with the negative emotions that the addictions are serving to repress, and then healing connection with other beings who can hold that compassionate and connective space. When you reunite with the whole and you recognize that you are part of a living system and the other beings in your world are the other parts of that living system, and you are meant to be interdependent and interreliant on each other, you break from those self-destructive cycles of repressing and controlling your vulnerability, and then you can open to healing energies. So to help other people with addiction, you just have to connect with them. Though so many of the systems in your world don't do this. They, sometimes against their own intents, shame and repress those who are addicted even more. And that is only making the problem worse. The remedy for addiction is connection. It's very simple.
Can you speak to the role of dragons when they existed on Earth, where they come from, and if they were...
What do you mean when they existed on Earth?
What?
What do you mean when they existed on Earth?
Did they not exist on Earth?
They still exist. There's a few here right now.
Can you tell us more?
They are multidimensional beings. They were, in a sense, physical in the sense that dinosaurs walked on your planet. They aren't necessarily connected with them, but there's a similarity. The dragon is a multidimensional energy that is a force of nature. It is a spirit of nature that is a natural protector. They reside over certain areas and land masses, and they can be channeled into your being. They act as a sort of kundalini energy of the earth. And your own kundalini energy, known as that inner dragon, helps you to connect with them. So certain places in your earth have potent forces that trigger awakening. So this is the kundalini of the earth in the form of the dragons blending with your inner kundalini and supporting that awakening process. And that's why you are drawn to specific places. The dragons and the protector spirits of these areas are calling you to them to have that interchange of energy so that their spirit can work into your body to awaken the kundalini, and there can be an interchange of information with your auric field and the aura and energy of the land.
Can you talk about dragons and magic?
What do you mean specifically?
What is the relationship
with dragons to magic? As we have said, dragons are the force of awakening of the earth. When you do rituals in certain places and you call upon the nature spirits, you can call upon the dragons as well, and they serve as protectors and awakeners.
What can you say about swimming with children with symptoms of autism spectrum and just autoimmune? There's just so many young children being born that have a lot of different challenges.
Your world needs to recognize what the purpose of your existence is. Can you tell us what we told you the purpose of your existence is?
Follow our excitement.
Only one of you got the right answer.
Be yourself.
To be yourself. So your world is far too focused on productivity, on getting things done. You're manifesting people who are proving to you that there's a different purpose to your existence than productivity and getting things done. That's all.
Is there...
You need this neurodivergency and diversity in order for you to get the message.
Why is it that most people are born into physical conditions of suffering around the world? And what is the role of the minority who are born into lives of privilege to heal these people and to alleviate their suffering?
Souls make agreements to incarnate into certain circumstances. Oftentimes, these circumstances align with their agreements in past and other lifetimes to clear certain energies. Souls who experience greater discrimination and greater otherness are the greatest awakeners of the collective. As you step into your empowerment, even in that role of feeling othered or not being given the same access, you are holding up a mirror to others of how they are disowning parts of themselves. That is why those of you who are of these minority groups, perhaps because of your race, your sexuality, your place of origin, your neurodivergency, your economic level, or anything of this nature, can hold up a mirror to people and make them uncomfortable without doing anything. And when you recognize that this is a gift and not a curse, you will then be able to tap into your intuition. You will then recognize your role as a magician to help other people get in touch with what they have disowned. They are only acting from a place of ignorance because they are not in contact with the parts of themselves that have been victimized. Many people in your world still play out a story, even in healing circles, that there cannot be a victim. And this is also part of the teaching of those who are suffering. It is coming to be the mirror reflection of holism, that there are those in your world who are perpetrators and who are self-serving. They are connected with the consciousness of the reptilian race, and they are often infiltrated by those invaders. And by being that mirror reflection, showing to your world that so many people are enabling perpetrators and reptilian energy and allowing that energy to have a grip still on your reality, you help heal the whole. But you have to do that from an empowered place. And many people will still be uncomfortable. And being comfortable with that will be part of your power and part of how you help others in similar situations to heal.
You are being channeled to provide those who seek higher ways. Are there others being channeled by other humans to seek disempowering ways?
Yes, there are.
And how could one distinguish what is what?
The feeling of love and connection versus a feeling of paranoia and fear. And now this is where there is something to pay attention to, because some of these other messengers might lure you in and hook you with a bit of love to then instill you with a bit of fear. So you have to pay attention to every message. You can't just take the bait and then swallow everything from that point onward. That's like going out and getting a bad drug somewhere. That person at the bar might give you a nice drink, one or two, and then suddenly they slip something nasty in it. Pay attention. Every drink is different. So every message is also different from these different teachers. And that is how many of these cults lure people in. They take the essence of the light and use it to bring people together and then start to play games for their own agendas. Be aware. There's still deception out there.
What is the most effective way to connect to and heal the earth during this transformative time?
Act on your highest passion to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome.
Are humans supposed to live longer? And
yes,
what will help them do that?
Well, supposed to. That language is a bit off, but they can and they will, yes.
What will help?
Less stress, more love, healthier food, cleaner water, holistic mindsets. The formula of following your highest passion to the best of your ability without insisting on an outcome. Healing plant medicine.
Are there gatekeepers that keep us safe at different consciousness levels?
Yes.
Who are these gatekeepers?
Every dimension has a different gatekeeper. Every realm has a different gatekeeper. Sasquatch is the gatekeeper to a mythical realm of the earth. The idea is that there are certain spirits and entities that exist on a parallel reality of earth. Sasquatch is the first of them to present themselves to you, but there are others. We and beings like the Arcturians and Syrians are gatekeepers to the galactic realms. We hold open the keys. There are other members of the Galactic Alliance, some of which you know, but many are not ready to be introduced to you. So we hold open the door now for the energy that is ready and sufficient for you. There are gatekeepers of the underworld. Dragons act as gatekeepers for certain places on your earth plane. You all will have your own personal spirit guides that help you to connect with that shamanic lower world, and specific guides that help you to connect with the upper world, so to speak.
How about the Akashic Records? What have you been feeling about
That is simply the information present within everything. The idea, again, is that some of you can tap into your intuitive gifts to be able to read this information that is present at a blueprint level within the auric field of another person or another being of some kind.
How do we overcome the rules and regulations imposed upon us by our government in terms of building the types of homes and communities that we would like out of natural materials and being able to do what we want with our waste and live more in tune with nature without fear of losing our livelihood or the things that we've created?
What isn't seen can't be punished.
If our job is to be our true selves, is it important that we know these aspects of ourselves if we hold dragon energy, or must we be aware of our guides?
You don't have to be aware of this or that or anything. You don't have to ever open your astrology chart. You don't have to ever meet your spirit guides if you act on your highest passion to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome. But if your excitement would lead you to do such things, then you might want to do it.
What is the best thing we can do for children in the world right now?
Encourage them to be creative in their learning. Encourage them to be self-led in their learning. The idea of a curriculum goes against the natural process of learning. When learning is governed by passion and excitement instead of the idea of what you're supposed to know, children will be able to discover their own ability to take information in a much deeper and more potent way than by following the curriculum.
What guidance might you give to someone who's receiving messages, like starting to feel they're tapping into some kind of channeling themselves, to do it in a safe, trusted way?
Record it. Listen back to it. Gain trust through paying attention to how that feels. share it with others. Ask yourself, is this channeled information something that feels love-based to me? And let others reflect with you on that. And if it does feel love-based and it does feel fulfilling and supportive, then keep going with it.
What can we do about human trafficking?
Raise awareness. There's certain things that you could do at local levels in areas where that's relevant for you. Though this raises the concern of certain psyops, certain distractions, certain ways that powerful individuals seek to distract you by bringing you to focus on fear-based ideas and information. So we would encourage you in this regard to let go of many of the stories that you are being told, to recognize that there are forces that want you to focus on things that you can't control so that you don't tap into your own creative power.
Can you speak on a general level about the rise of the feminine energies as we transcend and evolve, and the balance of the masculine and the feminine?
The feminine, as it's represented by women at a physical level, is represented and held at an inner level as the energy of the heart. And so in your world, the head has dominated the heart. And it is the liberation of the heart that is the return of the feminine energy. It is the return of being heart-led and heart-guided that is the return of the feminine energy. It is when your compassion overpowers your judgment that the feminine energy returns. It is when your love outpowers your fear that the feminine energy returns.
Can you speak a little bit to the nature of the divine masculine?
The divine masculine is about structure and order and containment. The masculine creates the blueprint and the container for the feminine to express itself. So the feminine is in that first part of the formula. Act on your highest loving excitement or passion. The masculine is the second part, to the best of your ability. So the mistake is that you put the first part of the formula before the second. You live in a world that says, do the very best thing that is most success. And then maybe you'll feel better afterwards because that's what you were supposed to do. It's working with ideas and principles before it listens to heart. And so in order to get into that feminine energy, you have to go to the heart first. And when you fully surrender the heart and give all of your trust and all of your focus to the heart, then let the heart guide the mind. The mind can create the structure, containment, and alignment that would best serve the heart's interests. So when the masculine listens to the feminine, love tells you how to use your mind. And when love is channeled through your mind, you will find that your mind works very well and is in no way an enemy.
What is the function of romantic love, and why is this such a difficult thing for so many humans?
Your sexuality is the deepest exchange of energy that you experience in your world, and it's also how new life comes into this reality. And so by experiencing love in your human relations, it brings that love into deeper cells of your being. It allows you to release and unwind. It's part of your creative process and part of your evolution. So it is this deep intimacy that can bring you into deep connection with Source. And it is a source of conflict because of your essential separation from Source, the story of that separation at least. you have come into this realm and you've been told many stories of forgetfulness. The idea that you are somehow separate from a God outside of you who may punish you. The idea that once you are dead or out of this realm that you will be free, are all ways that your consciousness has been trapped and limited to focus only on me here and now, away from this source of great love or wisdom. And so therefore that is projected out onto the lover. As soon as you experience the deepest depths of intimacy and you separate, you fear as if you won't come back with the lover. You fear as if you won't be able to maintain that same level of connection. You create all of these ideas and agreements that try to force that connection to stay in place. And when you recognize that you could never be separate from Source and you've always been Source, it will be much easier to recognize that you are the source of the love that you feel when you are in deep connection with your partner. While the love is evoked in the presence of the partner, you experience the love in your own body. That proves to you that this love that you're feeling is your own. And when you own this and recognize this and understand that your partner is the reflection for the love that exists within you, they are needed for the connection, but you can also do it with many other partners. You stop to depend only on this partner as your source of love. And we're not saying that all of you need to be polyamorous or anything of that nature, but you do need to hierarchy your relationships. You think that your partner is your best source of love and your only source of love, and you sometimes forget that your friends and your community also give you the same love that your partner gives you, perhaps not as of in depth as a way. Some of you don't open yourself to other people in your lives as much as you open yourself to your partner. Some of you place so much expectations on your partner as if they're supposed to fix you or understand you when you need to understand yourself first. So it's an opening yourself to love from all that is and love in all forms that you can release some of the false expectations that you cast on your partner and let them be as human as you are. When you do that, the compassion will be much easier to maintain for them and for yourself, and you will be able to deepen into love with them and separate from them, recognizing that you're not actually breaking a connection and you're never separate from your source of love.
Do you have soulmates?
Many.
Twin flames.
That's more of a story, but you can play it out if you want.
How does free will impact destiny?
There's an infinite amount of destinies, but they're all destined. So, in this multiverse, again, parallel realities exist. But from the moment you incarnate, all of the pathways that could ever be already existed. And much like a choose-your-own-adventure story, you cross at different pathways in every moment. These are trillions of decisions you'll make over the course of your lifetime. And all of these different realities exist. But your free will allows you to choose the track that you end up on, if that makes sense. So it is this fusion of fate and free will that really is the nature of your reality.
Is molecular hydrogen part of our future path?
Yes. All right. The channel is getting a bit tired. We can take the 3 most important last questions. So only ask it if it is truly most important.
Do you have any tips for how to navigate social media, this changing world of social media where we are engaging with this tool of connection, but it is so dangerous because it can so easily fall into addiction and separation through making the false self?
So you need to learn to use your technologies in new and creative ways, because many of the mainstream platforms don't have your best interests at heart. Allow yourself to create your own platforms. Allow yourself to create your own networks. You can still use the mainstream networks, but pay attention to what happens in your consciousness as you do. Pay attention to how you feel as you open it, and how you feel as you go through it, and how you feel as you close the app. Pay attention to what information you're bringing in there. Make it safe to unfollow people. And when you step into the creative mode in these platforms, they can be very positive for you. The creative mode means that you're more focused on what you share than what you consume. The creative mode means that you speak before you take in information. So many of you are basing the way you interact and the way that you conceive of what you can share based upon what you're seeing. And this is only leading to more of the same garbage. You need to break from these apps and create your own stories in order to post them instead of doing what everybody else is doing. Allow yourself to break free from the typical memes and create new ones. Create your own stories because they will replicate themselves. Too often you fall into the pattern that you're seeing presented to you.
How can we thank our channel?
Be creative. The channel is very open to receive.
I have a question about suicide and the souls that pass on as a result of that, and if they fall into this realm of suffering souls, and how to support them in that space so that their soul can continue on in a positive way.
All souls return to source. All souls return to source. You need not fear. Sometimes souls leave behind ghosts or fragments that are aspects of their energy field but are not their essence. All souls do return on to source. And by connecting with the higher self of those who have passed on and sending them your love, you can support them in their return to source. But you need not fear any stories of punishment because it is not true.
Does it take some time to return to source, or does it happen pretty instantly?
It is a process, but again, once the soul leaves physical reality, there's no time. So it's not really bound to the time in the way that you experience time, but it is experienced as a process with many stages that happen all at once.
What are the dangers or the cautions of calling in those who have passed?
It depends who you call in. Do you call in your dead uncle, or do you call in the higher self of your dead uncle? Do you call upon the mental habits, or do you call upon the essence? Sometimes you keep around relics that contain more of the mental patterns of these beings. You might need to be aware of what artifacts you keep around. Symbols that represent the shadow side of those who have passed on can be offered to transformation. They're not carrying the essence. They're carrying a mental pattern that no longer serves in certain circumstances. So when you call upon those who have passed on, you must first call upon your higher self. Your higher self acts as a barrier of protection so that none of those energies can influence you. Though recognize that your ancestors live on through you already. They are alive in your body, and they are alive in your thoughts and in your actions. So as you're coming to heal yourself, you're also healing your ancestors. Make sure as you call upon them that you're informing them that your intent is to heal. As you do that, those who are not ready to heal will not step forward into this moment with you.
Thank you.
Or thanks to you.
Thank you.
If you would like, let
Thank
us
you.
conclude with a final meditation. Feel yourself seated against the ground. Take several deep breaths in and out. Focus in your heart center. See a brilliant light that emanates from your heart. Visualize from this light that roots grow out from your heart and down through your body. These roots grow out through the base of your spine and out through the soles of your feet, like the trunks of a great tree. The roots grow deep into the earth and they weave around the roots of many other plants. And through these roots, you connect with the electromagnetic field of the mycelium grid across your planet. Through this grid, information from one side of the world can travel to another part instantaneously. See these roots grow deeper and deeper. They go through the minerals, metals, and crystals beneath the earth, weaving around them, taking in their energy. They go through the underground streams of water and lakes of magma. They go all the way down to the solid core of the planet, wrapping around it. Feel the center of the planet is vibrating. It is emanating a sound or vibration. And these roots are allowing this vibration to reach you in a more rapid way. Feel this vibration in your bones and visualize this energy from the deep core of the earth coming up as a lava-like energy that flows through these roots and into the soles of your feet and into the base of your spine, moving quickly up your body. Allow this energy to gradually rise up, filling your body, all corners, every cell, slowly making the way to the top of your head. And see from the top of your head a great thread of light connected from your crown chakra to the center of the galaxy. And now this thread of light opens to surround your body and becomes a wondrous tube of energy. Send your awareness out through this tube. The tube passes through the moon, through your sun, and through a network of stars connected to your solar system. It goes all the way to the center of this galaxy, which is a supermassive black hole. Imagine going through that dense matter, all the way to its core, to a pinpoint of light that opens up to a wormhole. And in that wormhole contains everything, all that is. Experience this as an endless, formless field of light. Now imagine this energy descending rapidly through the center of this galaxy, through this tube of light, like a waterfall. This waterfall washes into the crown of your head and becomes a downward descending current of energy that again washes through every cell of your body, lighting you up. This energy goes into your being and settles into your heart. Feel this energy going into your heart. The energy of the earth supporting your heart. The energy of the galaxy supporting your heart. From your heart, let this energy rise up into your own third eye, where you step into your own inner dream space. Imagine yourself in a brilliant forest, your favorite kind of forest. It might be somewhere you know, or it might be somewhere you've never been before. Begin a search for a grand tree. This is a hollow tree with a special gift inside of it. When you find the tree, circumnavigate it 3 times. Walking around the tree, and remembering the intentions you began this experience with today. And then step inside of the hollow tree. Step inside, and suddenly, everything becomes very dark. Find comfort in this darkness. Settle into your heart. And as you do, glowing lights appear on the inner surface of the tree. They appear as the shape of 2 palm prints and a dot above them in the center. Lift your hands now as if you're touching the tree, and visualize yourself touching the tree and putting your forehead against the glowing dot. And allow the intelligence of the nature realm to rise up through the roots of the tree and into your third eye and into your hands and traveling into your heart. Let the nature realm deliver to you the information you need, and feel it at a heart level. Feel the love that nature has for you. Feel that nature always wants to come back into equilibrium. It is designed to do that. You, as a part of nature, will come into equilibrium when you learn to listen to nature. Visualize streams and streams of energy flowing from this tree into your forehead and into your hands and into your heart. And know that here you have portals all around you, but these being some of your most potent portals. The hands with which you interact in your world both take in and give out information. They're connected with your heart. Your third eye can bring this information in and send this information out. When you learn to listen to the world around you, you'll find that everything you need to know is in the whispers, in the wind, the rustle of the leaves, the sound of the birds, and the plants that jump out to you. When you pay attention to the dance of light and shadow, you will find that more is revealed. When you pay attention to the dance of light and shadow around you, you will see that there's more to witness in between than when you focus on just one or the other. And it is in this in-between liminal space where the greatest secrets lie. And the messages from those in-between realms can be revealed to you. Allow yourself to be open and know that in this eternal now, all of your parts, all of your relations, and all of your guides are ever present and always available to you. In unconditional love, we share this with you. We thank you again for allowing this transmission, and we hope to connect with you again in whatever ways you wish.